Welcome, all you beautiful brave hearts. It is another session of the Women's Pelvic Restoration and Disease Prevention Masterclass, but men are also welcome too. And often we will cover subjects that include men because men have things going on in the pelvic region too. Women just have more bells and whistles. So I am your host tonight, Cheryl Serta. I am a master practitioner with a Power Pack clinic in Northern California called Occidental Health and Healing. Now, usually I have the beautiful Lorraine Clifford, who's also a master practitioner and master trainer, to join me. However, she took a much needed vacation this last weekend and the drive was long. So as I speak, she's looking for a place where she can pull over or find some cell coverage so she can jump on and say hi. So we'll keep our fingers crossed and hope that that's what happens. So tonight, as with every night when we do any of our courses, we really want you to know that your questions matter. That means that whatever platform you're listening to, because we're on so many different platforms, that's right, Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, Rumble, Telegram, BeShoot, make sure that you put your questions in, okay? Make sure that everything that you have, and I'm sitting here doing this without actually sharing my screen. Here we go. So that's it. So here's all the different platforms where you can actually reach us on, and then put your questions in there. If I can't get to them while we're speaking here tonight, then I will absolutely have somebody get back to you, myself or Lorraine, will come in and answer any questions that come up for you. Because each time we do these classes, we're hoping to bring enough information to you so that you have an opportunity to make better choices when it comes to your pelvic health. And let's face it, the more I do these courses and the more I learn about the ridiculous things that doctors have told us to do about our pelvic health, the more irritating it becomes for me, because it's like, oh my goodness, I was just like everybody else. I was ruled, fooled, and schooled about my own pelvic health. And so right now, as we talk about ways that you can get better, we're having a July 4th Independence Day sale. That's up to 40% off on the nutraceuticals that your body needs if we want to get rid of the inflammation. If we want to bring our health back, then we have to give it exactly what it needs. And we have at the DACA Detox store not only all the most amazing high frequency nutraceuticals, we've got things to help you with, that's right, EMFs, your personal EMF, so that when I'm sitting in front of this computer, I'm harmonizing the frequencies instead of allowing those EMFs to do anything to my body. It's learning to take massive personal action by self-educating, right? We need to find out for ourselves and get out of the dark, so that when we are talking to somebody or in the medical profession, we actually have a voice and we can say, that's not actually what's going on down there. Tonight's subject is pelvic inflammatory disease. Now, this, believe it or not, is one of the most common diagnoses, right? Because they say that, and I'm saying right now, they're saying that it's about 10 to 13 per thousand women between the ages of 15 and 39 that will have at least one episode of pelvic inflammatory disease in their lifetime, right? However, it goes up to a peak incidence of about 20 per thousand. That's right, in age groups that are 20 to 24. Now, they give a lot of reasons for pelvic inflammatory disease, but one of the things that does happen is it gets overlooked. Women don't know that they have it because it has a lot of the same conditions like a UTI. And so we often will treat it like a UTI, not realizing it's pelvic inflammatory disease. And as we know, inflammation is at the basis and the root cause of all the issues that are happening in the pelvic region. And they say that after 1 to 2 incidences of having a really severe case of the pelvic inflammatory disease, that it starts to block the fallopian tubes, then infertility goes up. And we are always wondering what's going on. It's because we're an inflammation nation. And if you go to your doctor, he's going to say there isn't any natural treatment that you can do for PID. But we all here at the DACA Detox know that that is absolutely not true. We actually do know how to reverse the irreversible. But does it take making a lifestyle change? Well, of course it does. And you have to decide whether the relationship to your suffering is more important than a relationship to health and joy and just being so excited that you feel so good, right? Because if you're young and you want to have a baby, we want to make sure that we're growing that baby in an absolutely beautiful environment, right? Not something, not that manure pile, not in an inflammatory state. And the more we educate ourselves, because who doesn't want a pain-free pregnancy? Who doesn't want a pain-free birth, right? Why not create that outcome for yourself? And don't listen to all the people and everything that's going on out there, because it's really amazing. It's like you get around a bunch of women and they all talk about how awful it was. You rarely hear someone say, oh, it was bliss. It was absolutely fantastic. But let's talk about PID. What are some of the reasons? How do you get it? What is it, right? Well, it is an infection of the vagina and cervix, right? Before spreading to the uterus, fallopian tubes, and ovaries. So this is a significant problem for females age 15 to 25 worldwide. And a lot of times, or many types, can be bacterial. Okay, which means they're going to treat you with antibiotics. And we already know, yes, the antibiotic's going to go in there, it's going to fix it in this immediate, but it's not going to get rid of 100% of it. And it didn't address the root cause, which was the inflammation. Okay, and that's why we really want women to know that in order to really get healthy, we do have to put out the fire, right? Let's put the fire out. Let's bring our health back. All right. So they say that this comes from unprotected sex. Well, I don't know. People are pretty smart these days. They're being very careful. There's lots of different things that we can do, but there's a lot of reasons that create irritation, and the doctors are just looking for the most obvious, right? When we know that it has a lot more to do with our intestinal tract, what we're eating, how we're food combining, how we're digesting, because it didn't get to an inflammatory state overnight, right? When you have PID, this is something that's been building up over time because it is inflammation that spreads, right? So this is why when you originally get it and you start to have the symptoms, often it feels like something else. So they say, what are the causes, which I just talked about? These are great pictures. Bacterial infections, okay? They're saying that mostly gonorrhea, chlamydia, right? A lot of times, women can get chlamydia, you'll get treated for it, you'll go to your doctor, you don't get all of it. Now, that is still inflammation. The bacteria is still there. Now you've taken an antibiotic, which is now taking away your ability to fight it naturally. So then it's going to have a rebound infection. And oftentimes it just gets worse, right? And then they're going to say, now we need you to take more antibiotics. We need more medication. Or actually, let's go in and remove some tissue. And still not addressing the real root cause of what's going on, right? It's a sexually transmitted infection? Absolutely. Overgrowth of normal bacteria, right? Maybe you're, not eating well, drinking too many sodas, other things that are creating acidity, right? And now you've got an overgrowth of normal bacteria in your body. How about after childbirth? There's a lot going on. If it was a difficult childbirth, wherever you were, infections can happen when we have them at the hospital, even at home. Rarely at home, only because your body knows your home so well. This is why I love the home birth idea that they took kind of away from us and put a lot of fear into childbirth. I had all mine at home, beautiful, safe, easy, pain-free births and pregnancies, right? How about inserting an IUD? That is a foreign object that we're putting into our bodies because we're always looking for an easier way to take care of our menses and monthly cycles and our, getting pregnant. Because that's kind of the belief that's been put into women all over the world. Take away the natural way to not have a child. And so we have introduced all of these foreign objects and hormones when we do birth control pills that are upsetting the natural balance of your body. It can only do that, right? Even though it seems easy and you can take it off your mind, many, many more women, when they try to get off these forms of birth control, find that there's been damage that's happened, or they're having a really difficult time getting pregnant, right? How about a D and C of the uterus? And I know I actually had a doctor say to me, we need to do a D and C. They'll often say that when there's been a abruption of a pregnancy, or you miscarried, is what they say, or for any of those reasons, they're going to go in and D and C, or maybe because of heavy bleeding or other reasons. They have all these ideas that they think are actually going to work to create this environment that's going to make it more healthy, when actually they've just introduced more scar tissue, and they've introduced an opportunity for more infection, right? And they say, don't do douching. I don't know where douching came from, especially the stuff with the smells, as if there's something wrong with what's going down in our pelvic region. If there's an odor coming out of our vagina, we need to know that. That is a signal from our bodies letting us know that something isn't quite right. There's no way to cover that up. You can't put perfume on, it's like they say, it's like putting perfume on top of feces. It's not going to take away what's underneath. We still need to know. And if there is any bacteria in there and you do the douching where it pushes it up back farther into the uterus, now you're spreading that bacterial infection. Now, if you're healthy and you have a normal immune system, then this isn't really going to happen. You're going to naturally be able to take care of it. But if you've already got an inflammation problem, then this is going to exacerbate that problem. Absolutely. And so, like I said, often gets mistaken for a urinary tract infection, right? Because you have pain in the lower abdomen. And they say the upper right abdomen, this is rare. There's often vaginal discharge, you have fever, painful intercourse, pain when urinating, okay? Irregular menstrual periods. So these are symptoms that can kind of go with a lot of things that are going on in the women's pelvic area. And so it often goes misdiagnosed. But even when you do have a UTI, they have a lot of these over-the-counter drugs now. You can take care of this. And it's like, I want you to reach out and find yourself a master practitioner to do a perfect day consultation on just your pelvic health. And let's address what's really going on and give you actual ways that we can reverse the irreversible, right? We can do that infinite iodine. We have the vaginal and ultimate vaginal infusions. There are ways that we can restore the health to our tissues, get that inflammation out, and start taking back our health as women. Bring back our power and know what we're talking about, so that all those big words and the fear that they really have instilled in us as women, like if you go to the doctor with all of these things, boy, oh my gosh, they're going to go in there, they're going to take a sample, they're going to blow it up, right? A lot of times endometriosis, and then, the things that they want to do for it, when really it's an inflammation problem. But when it gets to that, really nth degree, it's like we need something right now because you've already been suffering a long time. So this is why I say, get yourself a practitioner and really start the whole process of finding out for yourself how you can make this happen. Okay? And it says, what does it lead to? Chronic pelvic pain, infertility, preterm labor, and ectopic pregnancies. So they really put a lot of scare into this. So let's say that you've had a couple of pelvic, things happening in your pelvic area, right? The inflammatory, the PID. And now they're telling you, boy, you better go in and you better do something right now because this is what's going to happen. And now you're more prone to getting cancer. Well, what is cancer? The fourth stage inflammation. It's still inflammation, right? They're not telling us anything that we don't already know as women. We know when it hurts down here. We know what's going on. But we haven't been taught as women how to go back in and take care of ourselves, or even to connect with our pelvic palace. Most women don't even think about what's below the belt, below the belly button. It's like, it's just something we have to endure instead of something that is such a gift and such an amazing thing. Because women, we get a menses every month. That's our body naturally flushing toxins and poisons, trying to create that beautiful space for a new baby. I mean, we get one up. This is an amazing way to help us. So if you've gotten to a place where it's now chronic, then it becomes really super important that you understand what the base root cause that's going on, so that you can start taking that massive personal action and get yourself to the pelvic restoration and disease prevention masterclass. We are going to be doing it online so that you can do it from the, just from the comfort of your own home. Every single woman on the planet needs to take this course from pre-menses all the way to 100. Find out what's going on as we age. Educate our daughters, educate them so that they know now. Get that perfect day guy. Start reading to your children. Let them know how the inflammation gets started. Because what are the medical treatments? Here we go. 2 broad spectrum antibiotics, both women and partner. Because apparently this is something you guys can give back and forth to each other. Hospitalization for intravenous antibiotics. Now you're getting mega doses of antibiotics, which means now your immune system is offline. Okay, so now you've got all of these antibiotics. You're going to have to relearn how to regrow that beautiful gut biome in order to get healthy again, right? They're going to do a pelvic ultrasound or a CT scan to see if any abscesses have formed, right? Which is just more inflammation from scar tissue and calcification building up, creating those occlusions, because that's what's blocking those fallopian tubes, right? Surgical procedures to drain abscesses and more antibiotics, right? And they still will tell you that there's no natural way that you can get rid of a PID, that you better get yourself to a doctor in order for this to be taken care of. And so I'm here to tell you that here at the DACA Detox in Braveheart Nation, especially Lorraine and I, this is our passion, putting together this course and these classes to help teach women how you can take your power back, but more important, how to reconnect with your pelvic palace. This is our power